Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary and a Fox News contributor. Hello, Ari. You're shaking your head. First of all, just top-line thoughts.
Well, my top-line thought, look, I was born in New York, raised in New York, I live in New York. I'm here to tell you, New Yorkers are often the most loudest, but not often the most accurate. You know, the governor is saying, wipe their hands of it. We have no resources. The federal government is doing all the above, but it's insatiable here in New York. Whatever the federal government does, New York wants more. And that's just the way New Yorkers are wired.
That's really interesting. You know, just on a broader picture, though, in terms of reopening the government and what that's going to look like, you are going to need more testing. I mean, we can all agree on that. So how do we get to the juicy middle of everybody working on it together?
Well, they are working on it together, and that's why when Governor Cuomo makes statements like that, it drives me crazy, because he knows that.
So
This
where are the
must
tests?
be a federal
The proof is in the pudding. Where are they?
No, it's the resources. The federal government has been moving tests out to the country, throughout the country. The question is, how many do we have? Is it enough? How many can we produce? It's one gigantic joint effort. In some places, it's going to go better than other places. That's obvious. But the question is, work together. And the only way forward is exactly what people are doing. The states and the federal government are working together. No one party is wiping their hands of this, putting it entirely 100% on the back of the other. It must be joint, and it is joint, except for the political rhetoric. That's always out of line.
You know, it just seems like there's some urgency. And you asked, actually, Ari, the best question. And I want you to go to the press conference today at 5 p.m. Eastern, because you asked the question, how many do we have? That should be simple to answer. And it would be helpful if somebody could start there from the task force, because look at them protesting in several states on this Friday. Look at how busy that has been. One governor capitulating moments ago in Minnesota. Yeah, I will open up some outdoor activities, so on and so forth. When you look at that, you know that there's pressure. We have to get the testing. So how many do we have? Why can no one answer that?
We need the testing, but it still is a legitimate scientific question. How many tests do we need? And must everybody get a test? Must everybody get a test once a day, once every 2 days, twice a day? And nobody knows the answers to that yet. So a lot of this is just going to be making our way forward with being sensible and reasonable toward each other as science and doctors advance what we need to do. But, you know, going back to Governor Cuomo, he said about a week ago that when he asked New York City hospitals, how many ventilators do you need? Every single one of them said to him, none of them had enough. They all needed more. Even if they had enough, they all wanted more. That's just how New Yorkers do it.
That's interesting.
So he's acknowledging
I remember
that he's getting from his institutions. And that's part of what everybody in America is doing to the federal government. No matter what you give us, we want more. It's the federal government's job to do their best to manage that, even as we go forward, as we're starting to open up.
Boy, you bring up a good point. Remember when the governor of New York also said he would go in and get some of those ventilators that those hospitals weren't using? I mean, that's an indication right there that perhaps they had a surplus. All right, let's talk resurgence. The president unveiling his multi-phase plan to get America open again, but also delegating quite a bit of influence and power over reopening that economy to governors. Politically, Axios is saying maybe that's a good thing. If it doesn't work out, blame the governors. I'm paraphrasing. But how should the president be doing it? What's a good idea?
Yeah, Harris, at this time, I'm just not prepared to talk the politics how this might work out. We'll see. I mean, the best politics for the president, the best way for him to handle November is to handle April and May. And that means substantive. That means doing the hard work, the good work that the federal government has been doing. And the governors, as I said earlier, are an integral part of it. The mayors, municipalities, that's our system. That's America. The government works at multiple levels, and the private sector too. Nothing's going to stop that. That's what we all have to do. It's not one or the other.
Well, we now know what the president has in mind with those new guidelines on reopening the economy, and we can take a quick look at that now. However, phase one, and which says sports venues and gymnasiums, that sort of things, raising some questions. Our medical panel will weigh in on that real quickly. But I am curious just to know from you, Ari, if this is what we need right now. I mean, the economy is in a slide. It has been. The Dow looking a little bit better today. You talk about people working together.
You know, and when you hear a governor like in Minnesota say you can go fishing, when you hear a governor of Texas say you can have elective surgery, every one of these little openings feels so good, Harris. It's a one step in the right direction. We have a lot of steps to take, but every one of those makes you feel better about this. So each governor's got to make those decisions. The federal government has to be there to help, provide those guidelines, but we can see that light at the end of the tunnel. We want to keep stepping toward it.
All right. Ari Fleischer, thank you so much for joining me on a Friday afternoon.